Boxing truth here. HBO boxing must actually be desperate and actually wanting to resign Andre Ward to a new deal, now that his deal with HBO expired after the second Kovalev fight. A lot of rumblings about what Ward's gonna do. He was commentating on a Top Rank show recently. A lot of rumors he might go to Top Rank. Ward kind of shut it down. Still revealed that he's with Rock Nation. And HBO is definitely desperate and wanted to re-sign him because they're taking some hits lately. They've lost two big providers to their network in the past few years. Heyman left with a bunch of his talent. Now Top Rank is gone. And that's a lot of content that they provided to the network over the years. So HBO they're looking for new talent. They need to put some content for their fall schedule, and they're actually considering putting Demetrius Andrade back in the mix. They're actually showing Giselle Corrales again, but against not a big name opponent. Right now, the ship is sinking in HBO. They're taking some hard hits. They still have some quality fighters, but now the roster is just getting thinner and thin, much thinner than before. I mean, there was a time when every major promoter was on HBO. But then, of course, the promoters got angry at HBO because there just weren't enough dates to provide for all the promoters in the game. Which is why Top Rank left. They couldn't get dates. Not many dates that they wanted for their fighters. And to be honest, a lot of the fights Top Rank has put on, the majority of them, HBO would have flat out turned down. For instance, Oscar Valdez next title defense, HBO would have rejected that fight. They would have rejected Zota Ramirez's next fight as well against Jesse Hart. They would have rejected Magdaleno's next title defense. They were interested in Pacquiao Horn, but HBO Top Rank turned it down, and now they're on ESPN, and they're gonna do their thing, and they're getting a lot of flexibility over there. They can put on matchups that they want so far. But for Ward, I mean, what the hell is HBO going to offer him? Like, seriously, if they're going to re-sign him. I mean, Ward must be seriously considerate because he knows HBO is they're at a weak spot right now. They're vulnerable. So they can't force Ward to fight all these killers because they don't really have the talent on their roster. And they're trying to get back in the good graces of certain fighters, and Ward is still the top American name, and the network is in need of that, since a lot of the American talent is with Heyman right now. So HBO may actually bend over backwards just to sign Ward. It may actually be willing to match him against the type of opponents Ward actually wants to fight. You know, like the soft touches, the 3 tune-ups he took. But what the hell can he offer him? Who's out there? I'm looking at the ratings. They ain't going to do a third Kovalev fight. Beterbiev is going to be with Top Rank. Unless a mandatory situation arrives. What, they're going to match him with Joe Smith Jr.? Who wants to see that? What, Sullivan Barrera rematch? Sean Monahan? What really good fights can HBO actually offer Andre Ward? And how the fuck is it that Kovalev has his next fight scheduled before Ward? What's Ward gonna do? Is he gonna move up to cruiserweight? Doubt it. Looks like Bellew and Hay gonna fight again. So where does that leave Ward? Badu Jack is with another rival network. Beterbiev has to beat Colling to be the mandatory. Kovacic was top rank. Alvarez is probably gonna fight Stevenson. Looks like Ward's gonna have a lot of freedom in terms of opponents if he actually signs with HBO. And HBO is desperate. They actually want to re-sign this guy. But they don't have any opponents. No interesting ones anyways. Looks like Ward's going to be able to pick and choose who he wants with the very thin roster HBO has right now. Some bad times for HBO. Let's see how they bounce back from this. Let's see if they can stay afloat, as right now they're not even a number one network. Not in terms of pay-per-view buys. Showtime still doesn't do the type of ratings, but Showtime has all the American talent. And HBO, all they have is a select few pound-for-pound fighters. And then everybody else. Damn. Certainly a bad time for HBO. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.